Career Crown. And I am so glad you're here today because I have got one heck of a guest for you. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck, the Strategic Sales Queen, and I am joined by an amazing woman, my hero, Sandra Yancey. And
Oh,
today, Sandra and I are going to be talking about the recipe for success. Success, 6 ingredients for building a multi-million dollar business. And I want everyone to think about this and let it sit with them for a second. Building a multi-million dollar business can feel overwhelming. Am I right?
yeah.
And especially when you don't know where to start. And today, what we have in store for you is the brilliant Sandra Yancey is going to share her proven 6 ingredient recipe for success that can help any entrepreneur, any business owner turn their dreams, their big dreams, into a reality. And you're
Mm.
going to discover practical steps to move forward with daily clarity and confidence to win big. And if you love the episode and the show, I invite you to subscribe, so you don't miss any of the great advice, tips, and impact we deliver. Now, I'm going to tell you a little about Sandra and I'm going to let her take over. But Sandra Yancey is an award winning entrepreneur, a #1 best-selling author of six books, a movie producer. She's the founder and CEO of eWomen Network and is recognized by the International Alliance of Women as one of the world's 100 top difference makers. She's been selected by the award-winning show, The Doctors, as their transformation expert, and she's been recognized by CNN as an American hero.
Mm.
Wow. Now, Sandra has her chops. She's got a master's of science degree in organizational development from the American University in Washington, D.C., and a postgraduate certification in organization and systems design from the prestigious Gestalt Institute. And I have to tell you, this is the real deal. Sandra is considered one of the premier business success experts in the world.
Mm.
So, Sandra, I am so honored to have you here today. Thank you for joining the show.
I'm thrilled to be here with you, Lynn. Thank you for inviting me.
Let's just dive right in so everyone can get the great juiciness we've got. What do you think is one of the most important ingredients to growing a business in today's environment?
I think you have to be committed to learning, unlearning, and relearning. Things have changed. I mean, and they are going to continue to change. And I think what's unique is that we are increasingly um, growing in a way that we have never seen before in terms of pace. And I don't think that's going to stop. And so I think your success is in large measure your ability to learn something that will work today, recognition of when it's no longer serving you well, the ability to strategically release it so that you make space to learn what you now know you need to know in order to stay competitive. So it's a series of learning, unlearning, and relearning. And the unlearning is really important because otherwise you just stack, stack, stack. And before you know it, you become buried in the overwhelm. Mm.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
And it is, it's about pivoting and refining,
Yes.
and using the strength that you got from
Yes.
what you've had before, because that's still that foundation. And
Yes.
it makes you stronger, but you always have to be really open and um, really accepting of there's a new idea
Yes.
and there's a
Yes.
new way. So I'd
Yes.
love to get into that and some of the things that you personally, what skill have you personally had to learn and master that you believe has contributed the most to growing,
Yeah.
a multi-million dollar international business. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Yeah, I would say the most important skill that I've had to master is the ability to do only the things that only I can do. And I think this is a women's issue, you know, Lynn. I do. I think because women can do so many things that it's easy for us to adopt this philosophy of, oh, I'll just do it myself. I can do it faster than it will take me to teach someone or tell them what to do. And I'll probably do it better because I'll do it my way. And so getting really clear on what is the outcome that you want and what do you want that outcome to look like, and then getting out of the way of exactly how someone needs to get there. Because the truth of the matter is, if you are hiring in a really smart way, you're hiring people that know more than you know about their given discipline. And so, therefore, there's no way that you could possibly know the best way, the most streamlined way, the most efficient way, the most effective way, right? You're going to hire people and surround yourself with people that have that. You have to know where you're going. You have to be really clear on that moonshot, if you will, and then reverse engineer. Understand you can't make it alone. You're going to have to get support along the way because the administrivia of a business will bury you, if nothing else, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. No,
mhm,
and I really love this because and I'm gonna put a little backstory here because I was at Icon, which is the biggest women's business owner entrepreneur event conference in the United States,
mhm,
every year. And that was something you said on stage. I wrote it down. I wrote it,
mhm,
I circled it, I
mhm, yeah,
starred it, and
mhm,
I started immediately thinking about the things that I shouldn't be doing.
right.
That
That we do.
and I actually I made changes at conference, at the
Mhm,
event, and
yeah,
I'm just telling you, everybody, you should get that second week of August in your schedule right
yeah.
now to
Well,
be
you're
in
you're you're
Dallas.
you're mimicking what you're doing is really expressing exactly what we're talking about. That's why
Yeah,
you're such a great leader, and that is that you have to unlearn. So you're hearing something, right? And you're saying, "Okay, I have to unlearn this old pattern." And so here are the things that I'm going to start doing differently. And I just want to emphasize that it really is in the power of the accumulation of the little things. I mean, everybody wants to know what's the secret with a big secret to success. And the truth of the matter is, it's a lot of micro movements that accumulate very quickly, by the way, over time and turn into really, really big shifts and transformation, not only in you as the CEO and leader of your company, but also your business.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so true. And I love that. I think it's brilliant. So
Mhm.
let's talk about the next thing. I mean,
Mhm.
because I know that that was one thing that was holding me back, but what do you think holds most entrepreneurs back from achieving their next level?
They keep waiting until they're ready, as if ready is a feeling. I always say ready isn't a feeling. I don't feel ready. It's not a feeling. That's why you don't feel it. Ready is a decision. One of my neighbors and greatest mentors and friends was the great Zig Ziglar. And he always said to me, I just never have forgotten it. And he said, success, Sandra, isn't for the chosen few, it's for the few who choose it.
Choose
And the reality is, Lynn, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that say they want success, but they don't really choose it with their actions, right? They keep waiting. And there's real power in that pause, and what that often means is that you missed your shot. It is in just making the decision to go and trusting that readiness opens up one step at a time.
it.
It doesn't move if you don't. It's kind of like your GPS. I mean, you can ask it for directions, but if you never move, right? It's never going to tell you whether you're on path or you need to recalculate,
Yeah.
and you got to it's in the power of the movement. So I think we just keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time, the right conditions, X amount of money in the bank, and we're focusing on the wrong things. It
Yeah.
is it is in the movement that I think we start to really see things begin to change.
Yeah. I, that inability to make a decision or the opposite of trying to do too many things all at once, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, there is that shadow side to that, but really
You're
recognizing that, you know, sometimes I always feel you have that saying, I never died from something I tried, but
tried.
making that decision
Mhm.
and making, I know that I have a tendency to overthink things. I mean, that's
Yeah,
and
I do
so,
too. I mean,
eh
I do too. You're not alone. I think,
yeah,
we want to make the right decision. So we think about, all the consequences and all the things, right? But if we give the same energy to what could work out versus what wouldn't work out. My mother used to say that I think it's based on a fable that there's two wolves that are always living in your head
Yeah.
and they're always barking at you and they have contradictory information. In fact, one's name is hope and light and the other's name is darkness and despair. And the question is, as my mom used to say, which one wins? And the
Yeah.
one that wins is the one you feed. Right?
Oh,
And so I mean, I've had to retrain my brain. I have a natural tendency to think and to overthink. I have a natural tendency to think of all the things that could go wrong. What are my contingency plans? What are my backups? All that, right? Which sounds logical in many ways. But what I've learned is if I could focus more on what could go right and how am I going to manage that? I mean, I'm looking at, right? I wrote this on my way back. I took a group on a mastermind to the French Riviera on a Mediterranean cruise, and there was for 2 weeks, and there was a lot that was going on in the office because we're going through a big boom and of growth, and it's uncovered. Sometimes growth can uncover things that you're not doing that you need to be doing in order to scale at a bigger and faster pace. And so there were some things that had happened while I was gone, and I was coming back with this sense of, I've got to make some big changes, and this is really hard. And I was listening to my voice around this is hard, and oh my gosh, this is like heavy, and all the things. And then I said, you know what? If I'm going to walk in here on a Monday, and I'm not going to have my head in the game, right, and really excited, then I'm gonna change the energy in the office to match more of the doom and gloom. And so I wrote in my journal 4 different statements, and I ended up then coming in on Monday and sharing it with the entire team because everybody knew that there were some things that we needed to fix. And I printed it really big, and now it's my mantra. And as I step away from my chair for a moment, I literally have this, and I'm looking at it every single day. And before I get started, I always look at my life mission statement, and now I'm looking at this, right? And I know exactly what my top 3 things are every day on my calendar. But let me just say this, and I do think this is really important,
yeah.
and that is it's a privilege to be challenged by a life created with real purpose, right? It's a privilege to feel overwhelmed by the growth we've been dreaming about. It's a privilege to be tired from the work we've asked the universe to provide. It's a privilege to outgrow the things we used to settle for, right? It's a
Yeah.
privilege, and we could look at that as it's a privilege. It's positive, or we could get stuck in the doom and gloom, which often creates hesitation, right? If not rigor mortis, where we do absolutely nothing. So this keeps me moving because it's a
Yeah.
privilege.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's I call her negative Nelly,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
the negative Nelly.
Mm-mm.
And so if you just want a quick thing that I do is I'll say, what's the worst case scenario if I make this
Yes.
decision?
Yes.
And is that gonna kill me? Is that my life gonna end? Well,
Is
how
it
would
going to
I
be
deal with that?
catastrophic? Yeah.
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 What's the best case scenario?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. What's the most
Yeah.
likely scenario? And when I do
Mm.
that, I can run through that literally in 60 seconds. And I realize it's that fear. The
Yeah.
negative Nelly is literally, she's shouting and she's driving a fear based
Yeah.
rigor mortis.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That little negative
I'm not
voice.
going there, Nelly.
Exactly. Yeah. She has a really big job. That's to keep you in your smallness. The question is who wins, right?
Yeah. So, you've built a a huge, I mean, a multi-million dollar business that you
Mm.
bootstrapped
Yes.
from nothing, all on your own. I mean, obviously with the help of your family,
Sure,
I'm gonna
sure.
say that, but
For sure.
you've done this. You've done
Mhm.
this. So what has surprised you the most about starting and I gotta add in there, 25 years going you're about
Yeah.
to enter 26 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. What
Yeah.
has surprised you the most about starting, growing, and scaling your business?
Is that once you know the fundamentals, it's just rinse and repeat. I mean, it really is understanding the fundamentals of all business. and that no matter what comes around you, I mean, I've had every reason to be out of business, from, starting an internet-based company, Women Network Electronic, to then having the internet bust, in around 2002, to opening up, getting ready to open up all kinds of markets across Canada. And then they had SARS in about 2004, to, the market crash in 2007, 2008. You know what I mean? To, 2020 with COVID, and I was a 100% live event business. And so what I can tell you is that, it's no fun to have to take a step back sometimes, right? But the question isn't whether it's fun or not. I mean, all business is hard, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you have to pick your hard, because what I know is being broke is harder. Living an unfulfilled life has to be the hardest, right? But success is hard, but it's pretty easy to understand. And once you know, and can focus on the fundamentals, I just haven't found anything that has really stopped me when there's been a lot that's probably tried to stop me in terms of market conditions and shifting and changing. And so I just always go back to square zero. Whenever I'm in doubt, I ask myself, so, is this a personal power problem? And I
Yeah.
feel, is it a mindset issue for me? Do I not have the right tools? Do I not have the right skills? Is this a people problem? Do I not have the right people that can really help me and support me and advise me and point me and direct me and give me the feedback, right? Priorities. Am I focusing on the right things, the things that make the cash register ring, that are moving the business forward, that are hitting, a looming deadline, right? What about my products? Are my products still relevant, right? Do I need to be tweaking them so that people know that I understand what they're going through? I see their pain, I understand the answer, and I know how to communicate it. Is it a positioning problem? Do I have the right marketing solution? I might have a really great product, but am I reaching the right people, and am I saying the message that is really resonating with them? Processes. I run my business on 5 core processes. Do I have a way to rinse and repeat? Am I operating at the highest, most efficient level? What do I need to do or invest in to be able to change that so that I can move faster and on pace with what's going on around me? And finally, performance. Am I measuring the things that matter? The things that are really driving the business growth. And I find that every problem and every opportunity that I ever faced for 25, now into 26 years, lies into one of those 7 areas. Point blank, period.
Yeah. No, and I mean, we were talking about these 6 ingredients for building a multi-million dollar business, and I know you
Mhm.
just I'd love to what are those 6? What are those
Yeah.
6?
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, I actually expanded them to 7, because I
Oh,
mean, you can look on the outside, there are 6, but you gotta, always kind of look at your inside. So,
side.
as I was summarizing, itself. So, what is your personal power? Because if you don't have the conviction that what you do makes a difference, it doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of, we used to raise our kids with the old adage that your actions speak so loud, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah.
And today, especially in the world of AI, authenticity is what matters. And people
Yeah.
know when you're being authentic and when you're reading a chat GPT script. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your personal power. But I do think the recipe fundamentally is, do you have the right people? Are you focusing on the right priorities? Do you have the right product that is resonating, that is needed? Do you know how to market it in terms of your positioning? Or can you run your business on systems and processes that allow you to scale at a fast pace once people find out how fabulous and dynamic and brilliant that you are? And do you know how to measure success so that you can create it over and over and over again? And that's the recipe. And I don't care what business I have worked with, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies. I was the personal consultant to the CEO of Coca-Cola for a number of years when I had my own consulting practice before I started eWomen Network. I mean, I've worked in major top tier brand corporations to small businesses, including my own. They tell me that less than 4% of all businesses ever make it to 25 years. And I can now look back and see why. When you're in it, you don't have time to notice all of that, right? You're just looking at, how do I keep moving forward? But I will tell you, I mean this, Lynn, with all my heart. I mean, all business, all of your problems lie in one of these areas, and all of your opportunities do too. That's the cool
Yeah.
thing, is you don't need like two different recipes, right? It's the
Yeah.
one thing, right, solves everything in your business. And there's just not a time when we have a problem that I don't come back and say to the team, is this a people problem? Or is this a process problem? Because sometimes we can blame people, and I fundamentally think that for the most part, people wanna do a really great job every day. I think people wake up for the
Yeah.
most part, and they wanna be valued, they wanna be seen as contributors, they wanna be acknowledged for the great things that they're doing. But sometimes people can outgrow. You can outgrow people, and they sometimes people don't wanna grow themselves, right? And so you have to make some tough decisions sometimes when that happens, and those are brutal. That's when it totally can I just it's so crappy to be a CEO in those moments, and I've been there,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard, and you have to ask yourself, "But who's gonna applaud you? Who's gonna applaud you for making that tough decision?" And sometimes, you have to focus on who the real core customer is. When you think about your customers thanking you for someone that might be loyal and dependable and love you and you love them, but they can't get the job done anymore, just know that you will have people that will they'll understand your pain, but they'll
Yeah.
also applaud you for looking out for them,
Yeah.
right? And that's why we're in business, is to take care of our customers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not personal, it's business.
Right.
And and that's part one of the I think one of the most important things about being a true leader is being able to make those tough calls, make those tough decisions,
Yeah.
and it sets you apart because if you can't, I don't believe your business will ever be successful.
No, you can't
Yeah.
sustain it. And think about how hard we work to get to the top, at some level, then it all starts over again,
Yeah.
right? Because it's one thing to get there, it's another thing to stay there and then continue to grow. And you have to grow because business gets more and more expensive every single year. So you can't make the same amount of money. You've got to make marginally more, significantly more, not just a little bit, but a lot. And 10% isn't going to cut it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and it takes as much work to do 10% as it does to do 10x, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So focus on what you want your outcome to be and reverse engineer from there. And you make the same amount of steps, you just make different steps and you get different results.
Absolutely.
I
So,
don't, I just don't believe in putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, that's a very painful way to grow a business. And I don't think you can make it over the long run.
no, I mean, I really believe you have to have a strategic plan.
Yeah.
And so I want to, with all everything you said, which is, I hope everyone's been taking lots of notes, but what's an accomplishment that you personally are the most proud of?
You know, I think I'm most proud of, gosh, Lynn, that's a really great question. I think I'm most proud of, mm, I would say probably my family. I mean, I've been blessed enough. I was raised by a single mom. My dad died before I ever had a chance to know him, and my mom wasn't from this country. She's Mexican, and so English wasn't her first language. And she was an orphan. She was raised in a convent. So she was raised in a time when you basically lived in silence. So my mom didn't develop really great communication skills. She learned how to speak English, but that didn't mean she could communicate well, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
and I was the youngest of three and the only girl. I had a brother just 13 months older than me. He was killed in a car accident when I was 26 and he was 27. And I met my husband when I was 17 and a senior in college, in high school, and we've been together over 40 years now. And so I'm proud of the fact that we stuck it out, because that wasn't always easy either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I married a music man on a stage on Capitol Records with a gold album, and I was the behind the scenes girl. And so to navigate shifting those roles and paychecks, right, and working together now, has been, a work of art, how we've done that. And I'm not trying to say it's been easy.
No,
it's been a commitment.
it
And
is.
then to have the same kind of relationship with my 2 children, you know what I mean? It's to the point that my daughter, I get to see her every day. Her office is right next to mine. She's the heir apparent to eWomen Network. She's on a 10-year succession plan. We're entering these next 5 years more as a co-CEO role, starting in 2026. And that hasn't been easy either, figuring out how, so when am I mom and when am I Sandra? You know? It took us a while to figure that out. Now when she walks into my door and she says, "Mom," I know. It's
Yeah,
like a code. I know. I'm in mom mode now. And when she walks in and she goes, "Hey, Sandra," I know that it's business. But it took us
yeah,
a while to figure out how to it might sound simple, but it took us a while how to figure it out. And our son, very in a very, very important role in our family system. So probably family is, what I'm most proud about, you
yeah,
know, and also the amount that we give back and we help people who can never help us back, you know. My mother used to say giving isn't really giving until you help someone who can never pay you back. That
yeah,
it's not quid pro quo and you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's just I'm going to
yeah,
help you because I can.
yeah, from your heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
expect nothing in return.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so beautiful. So, you know, let's sort of pivot back.
Mhm.
What's the skill you have to constantly work on? Because I know that that's going to be an inspiration to me personally, but I'd love to hear
Yeah.
it for everyone here.
Mm. Probably the imposter syndrome.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean, look, to be where I am today, I couldn't have dreamt it. It was nothing that I knew existed. It was nothing that I had been exposed to. I mean, I was born and raised in a very small town in Ohio. It was farm country back then. Still to this day, where the house I was raised within about 5 miles is the um, corn factory for corn syrup, and I just didn't have. I didn't know. I mean, we didn't have a television growing up. I remember when we finally got one, it was black and white, but we didn't watch a lot of it. My mother watched soap operas during the day while we were at school to learn English, interestingly enough. That's how
well,
one of the ways she learned English, right? But we didn't watch it a lot at night. Uh, as I recall. There wasn't, my mother was into playing games and teaching jacks and teaching checkers and things like that. But I just didn't. Yeah, I really I think have said to myself, I deserve to buy my own seat at the table. And
yeah.
I keep buying bigger and bigger and bigger seats. I've paid $150,000, for a seat at the table. And I I think I've had to learn that no one's going to rescue me.
Yeah,
I came from an era where the prince had to kiss you like, Snow White for you to come to life, or the prince had to, find your ideal foot to put a shoe on in order to rescue you. I didn't come from an era where, made your own way. And
yeah,
so it's easier for my daughter Brianna now because she's got so many more role models than you and I, had growing up. And
yeah,
um, so there's still a little bit in there, that tells me I'm worth it.
yeah,
I can do this. I can pay for that program or I can go to that place and I can learn this. I can figure this out. And so there's a little bit in there that, creeps in every now and then. My
yeah.
darkness and despair voice, And then I have to stop feeding it, and put it in over here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, but
true.
it's so true, and the work that as women that we're doing in our generation and certainly within eWomen Network of really
Mhm.
paving that road so that
Yeah.
more and more women are business owners and will be multi-million dollar
Yes,
business
yes,
owners running
yes,
big
yes.
businesses that employ people. Um, it is it that's transformational,
Yeah,
and Brianna is just the perfect
yeah,
person to take
yeah.
on this mantle.
And now
and
she
carry
has
it
a
forward.
5-year-old little girl, my little Tatiana. I spend the night with my daughter every Thursday night because we have a 7-month-old little grandson, and then there's Tatiana. And tonight, Tatiana, I spent the night last night, and she's spending the night with us tonight, with Kim and I tonight. And last night she was dressed up in her little princess, nightgown, but it was interesting, she also had a stethoscope around her. And I said, "And who are you? Can I just ask you who you are?" And she says, "Well, I'm the princess doctor." And I thought,
Quick,
"Good for
brand
you,
that.
girl." I mean, that's not what I was thinking when I was 5 years old. It was, "Are you gonna be a teacher? Are you gonna be a nun? Are you gonna be a nurse? Are you gonna be" She's like, "I'm a princess doctor." Like, I can wear a crown and walk around with my stethoscope.
All right. I bet a bunch
Yeah.
of people are reaching to buy that URL right now. So,
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
so Sandra, is there anything you wish that I'd asked you today that I have not?
Oh gosh, Lynn, you're great. I really truly respect you and adore you, the
Oh,
woman that you are, the passion you have in the world, how smart you are. Grateful that, our journeys have converged and you asked me to be on this show. I would say, in closing, again to my mother, interesting how much of an influence my mother has been, given that she wasn't an educated woman. Um, and she had a lot of self-confidence issues, um, because besides being Mexican, she was also um, mixed race, and it was very complicated to be a mixed race kid when 90 some years ago. And she carried that burden. She never sorted it out before she died. But what I will tell you is she was so full of wisdom, this woman. And she used to always say to me, ultimately, your success will be based on two things, Sandra. And she would say, you have to give without remembering, and you have to take without forgetting.
yeah.
And
Oh,
I
wow.
love that,
Oh,
so when somebody gives to you and helps you, don't forget. Don't forget. And I have here, like, I have 3 cards, thank you cards, that I have to get out today. I've got someone that is a diehard member in eWomen Network. She's been a member for a really long time. She just lost her sister, and I want her to know that I'm thinking about her. So you just tell people you remember, give without you just, like, I care about you. I know you. I don't keep tabs. I don't keep score. And then, when somebody helps you and they say, "Here, Sandra," then you never forget that. You never forget the people that help you along the way,
yeah.
and it makes life feel so much more fulfilling. And I think ultimately is that what we want. We want
Yeah.
a fulfilled life filled with freedom to be able to make
Yeah.
great choices, yes and no, right?
Yeah.
And so that would be it.
Yeah. A life well lived.
Yes,
Life well lived.
yes.
So, Sandra, thank you so much for sharing the recipe for success,
Yeah,
6 ingredients for building a multi-million dollar business.
yeah,
And I know that, I mean, if people haven't already figured out, they're going to want to know how to connect with you and learn
yeah,
more about you and
yeah.
eWomen Network, yada, yada.
Well, I mean, the company is eWomen Network, and of course, eWomenNetwork.com. I'm there, all over the place. And I'm also on social media. So come and say hello to me. It is me that responds to all of my social media. I mean, I do have people that help me with my posting, but all those responses are me. Right? I don't want anybody to represent my voice more than me. So would love to connect with you. Come and say hello.
Okay, absolutely. And thank you again. And thank you to all of our listeners who tuned in. I don't know
Mm.
about you, but there's so much value in today's discussion with
Oh.
Sandra. It's been such an informative discussion. So thank you for tuning in. And Sandra, thank you again. This has been, gosh, amazing. I'm going to go back and listen to this as soon as I'm done.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, I think I lost my mute. One of us lost. I couldn't hear you. So, all right. Bye, everybody.